Have you been reflecting about this last year and how crazy it's been? I mean, with all of the whirlwind that's happening, were you able to still accomplish those goals that you set out for yourself, or did you fall short? I hit every single one of my goals this year. No, I didn't. And that's okay. I hit many of the goals and I fell short on others, but I'm sure you hit all of your goals, right? Well, that's okay, because here's another chance to readjust and get back on track since we're only a few days away from the New Year's. And I want to issue you a challenge, something to add to your goals this year, both if you're not a vegan, and a different challenge for those of you that are already vegan. I also thought in addition to challenging you, I'd share some of my goals for the new year, since goals that are shared are more likely to be accomplished. So let's get to the challenges, but first actually, let me welcome you to Vegan Yak, where I yak about all things vegan. I'm Walter, and if you're looking for more information about veganism, then subscribe to the channel and hit the notification bell. In fact, this is the challenge for you. Not just kidding, but I do have a ton of great video ideas on my schedule for the new year, and if you subscribe, you'll get to see all of that, and then you can keep me accountable all year long to all the goals that I'll share with you at the end of this video. And you can yell at me if I fall short. Oh yeah, and for this video, I will put the timestamps in the description. That way you can jump to the section that is most relevant for you. So if you're not a vegan and you're here, you have likely, considered making some changes and have considered living a vegan lifestyle. If this is you, then here's your challenge. Do it. Wait, what? Yeah, just do it. Commit to living a vegan lifestyle. Well, it's not that easy. And why not? I want to be clear in what I'm saying here too. I'm not saying go through your house and get rid of all of the animal products today and throw out all of your food, although that is mostly what I did when I went vegan. But no, that's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is decide that you're going to be vegan. Commit to being vegan as the goal. That is the first step. And remember that veganism is just a philosophy about reducing harm and exploitation to animals as far as it is possible and practicable. It shouldn't be too hard of a declaration to make if you care about animal suffering. And just like the goal of weight loss or weight gain, you have to first admit that you care about the goal of being at a different weight and that you don't think that your current weight is where you'd like to be. I mean, this could be for health reasons or for something else, but the first step is just to admit that you care and that you want to change. Then comes the practical steps, which admittedly can be much harder, but focusing on the practical steps first, if you aren't actually bought into the goal, is a surefire way to fail. Do you care about animal suffering, environmental damage, and/or human suffering? If yes, and it's really a yes, then okay, that's the first step. Admit to yourself that you'd like to be vegan because it's something you actually care about. Good. Now the goal is set. Now that you're here at this point, let's talk about the next challenge of actually putting this goal into action. Let's pause for a second though, because if you aren't ready to make that commitment and you aren't ready to say that you care about it enough to make it a goal to be vegan, then I have a completely different challenge for you. I have a video that talks about my favorite vegan documentaries, and you can pick some to further educate yourself to see if being vegan is the goal that you actually want to make. Now, my challenge specifically for you in the next couple of months would be to find the time to watch 3 movies: Earthlings, Cowspiracy, and What the Health. That's your New Year's challenge if you aren't ready to set veganism as the goal yet. If you are ready and have set veganism as the goal, then here is your challenge. Do it. What? Again? Yep, again, just do it. Well, deja vu, but it's not that easy. And why not? Literally today, you could vow to not buy another product containing animals or one that was tested on animals ever again if you don't have to. It can be that simple. Sometimes we like to overcomplicate our goals and put into practice these tiny micro steps in order to one day in the far future possibly achieve that goal. But some goals don't have to be this way, at least not for certain people. So this is where you have to be honest with yourself and pick which way you think it will be best for you to accomplish the goal. And I'll give you some suggestions as a starting point depending on where you're at. If you can do it overnight, then that's your New Year's challenge. I did this over 3 years ago and I have not looked back since. So if this is you, then badass, go you. This can possibly be the day that you always look back to and go, this is when I achieved my goal of going vegan. The day of setting the goal and accomplishing it can be the same day. How often does that get to happen? Definitely not the case with weight goals for sure.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
And if you're the type of person that knows that you need a little more help or some more steps to accomplish being vegan, then here are some suggestions for you. First, I have a video all about going vegan for beginners, so I'll link that here too, so you can check that out for any additional help. But in order to further help you, I'd say maybe start with a vegan challenge like Veganuary or Challenge22. Veganuary is the movement where people pledge to be vegan for the month of January in hopes of making permanent lifestyle changes. Or you could do a Challenge22 challenge where through Facebook you're put in a group of other other people committing to be vegan for 22 days, again in hopes of making permanent habit changes. And the group has set challenges and mentors as well as dietitians to help, and all of this is completely free. I like free. I'll link the sources in the description below to both of these so that way you can go check them out. So if you need that extra push or these steps, then one of these groups could be your New Year's challenge. Now, if you're the type of person that feels they need even more granular steps and you're considering doing something like Meatless Mondays this year or something like that, then I want to challenge you to go just a little bit further. You know, some people may need these steps to change habits and actually achieve their goals, and that's totally fine. But I want to remind you that you're setting the goal of becoming vegan entirely, not setting the goal of being vegan on Mondays and not the rest of the week. You know, like if your goal was to quit smoking and you only quit on Mondays, you wouldn't have achieved your actual real goal. So if you need to take these steps, then do it, but set a deadline for when the larger goal should be entirely accomplished. As an example, you maybe start in January with replacing all of your breakfast foods that you make at home, you know, with vegan options. Then in February, you replace lunch, and then March, dinner. You know, and then in April, you could figure out options for dining out. There, it's done in steps and you can be vegan, you know, at least in the terms of your diet by the end of April. And then in May and June, you can focus on the other vegan products and entertainment and such. Halfway through the year and you can be vegan. That could be your New Year's challenge. I'll get to my goals here in a second, but I also want to issue a challenge to you if you're already vegan. And this is arguably the most important challenge in this whole video. If you're already vegan, I want to challenge you to do just one piece of vegan activism every month for the new year. You can pick whatever piece you want that to be. You know, you can go do street activism when it's safe to do it. You could make it a point to share materials with your friends, even if it's just through social media. You can invite friends over to watch one of the documentaries, or you could sign up to be a mentor on Challenge22. I mean, heck, you could even start a YouTube channel and make videos. Do anything really, but, and it's an important but, I would challenge you to do something that you're comfortable with and that you have the appropriate skills for. The animals desperately need your voice, but it's best if it is an effective voice. So if you're really shy and you don't communicate clearly while speaking to people in person, but you're really great at written responses, then maybe choose to be a mentor on Challenge22 instead of doing street activism. Or if you do certain street activism like Anonymous for the Voiceless, then you can be the person that holds up the signs and the TVs instead of talking to people. I mean, heck, you can just go to the streets and hold up signs or pass out pamphlets. If you have no knowledge of filmmaking, but you're a great writer, then maybe write a book or a blog or something instead of making a movie or a YouTube channel. Now, if you have the passion for learning how to make great movies or something, don't let me stop you, but hopefully you get the point. You know, find something that you're good at and that you can be effective at, because again, the animals need effective voices. It doesn't have to be perfect, but play to your strengths. Getting other people to live a vegan lifestyle is like the most vegan thing you can do. I mean, in the terms of reducing suffering, you'll make far more impact if you convince 2 people to be vegan than you would if just, you know, being vegan yourself. And don't twist that into, well, I don't even need to be vegan if I get others to be. Like, that's not, no, hypocritical activism probably won't be very effective. But just a look at the numbers really quick should tell you how important this is and can be. Right now in the US, there are a few million vegans according to the research. So if every vegan helped just one other person live a vegan lifestyle this year, then we would double in size closer to 6 million vegans. And then if the process continued, it would only take 7 years for the entire country to be vegan. Yeah, that seems right. Math. Now, I don't expect the math to be anything like this in reality, because I don't expect every new vegan to turn around and help change one more person. But the reality is that those who are activists can change more than just one person every year too. Some might be effective enough to change hundreds or even thousands. So no matter where you're at, hopefully you can see that one of the most important things that you could do to actually help the animals is to help others successfully live a vegan lifestyle. You know, I plan to make a large amount of content on this subject over the next year or two with tons of tips. So definitely follow along and subscribe if you're looking for, you know, tips on how to be successful in your activism. But again, if you're a vegan, I challenge you, this year for one of your New Year's goals to be just once a month to do some consistent form of activism. Now for my goals. Well, first let me just say my thanks to you all. I mean, the channel growth this year was awesome, and I'm very much looking forward to growing more in the new year, and that's all due to how awesome all of you are. So here are my main goals that I want to share with you for this new year. I want to get to at least 50 uploads this year, and hopefully more, but at least 50. And some of the videos that I'll be making are a little bit more time intensive, so I can't promise more than that, but again, at least 50 uploads. I'll also be more active on my other social media platforms too, which I didn't do a good job of this year. So I plan to post at least a few times every single week. So feel free to follow me on Instagram, Facebook, and or Twitter as well. By the end of the year, I want to have over 1,000 subscribers and monetize my channel so that way we can use those resources to further spread the message. And for those of you that don't know, in order to monetize your channel, you have to have over 1,000 subscribers and 4,000 hours of watch time in the previous 12 months. Also, another goal is to launch a Patreon account this year too. So if you have specific benefit tiers that you'd like to see, then, let me know. The hope is to grow in the future to help spread veganism to as many people as possible until spreading veganism is no longer needed. And that's going to take more resources and employed help in the future. So we want to start working towards that goal this year too. Now, this is a more personal goal and it's going to be the hardest one to hit, but I want to be down to 13% body fat by July and closer to 10% by the end of the year. This is going to be tough and I will definitely need to be more consistent in some of my habits to make this happen as well. So expect some videos, with some updates on this in the new year too. I also want to continue to meditate daily. I have been doing this lately, but it wasn't consistent all year long this year. So the plan is to be more dedicated to this in the new year. I have some other goals and some other projects that I'm working on too, but I can't quite share those yet, but that should be enough for you to keep me accountable. Let me know in the comments below what your goals are this year. I'd love to hear them. Thanks for watching, Happy New Year, and until next time, stop looking at what you can't do and start looking at what you can do. Thanks.